There are currently 408 million people on Earth who want paid work but cannot access it. This chart shows the engagement levels of the people who actually have jobs. Nearly 80% of the global workforce is emotionally detached from their daily work. That breaks down into 64% who are unmotivated, quiet quitters, and 16% who are actively miserable. A massive source of this friction is the digital application system. Up to 60% of all job applications now originate from online job boards. Looking at this funnel visualization, you can see why that volume is a problem. The average corporate opening attracts 242 raw applications. Those generic submissions convert to an interview at a rate of roughly 2%. To survive that invisible machine screening, applicants are turning to technology. 74% of job seekers now use AI tools to generate resumes and cram them with the right keywords to bypass applicant tracking systems. We built a system that treats workers as standardized units. Processing human beings as identical, interchangeable commodities in a rigid digital pipeline guarantees a high failure rate for both the person applying and the company hiring. While job boards generate noise, 75% of open positions are filled internally or through word of mouth before being publicly advertised. Reaching out directly to a hiring manager yields a 19% interview-to-job conversion rate. Despite those odds, less than 1% of job seekers attempt to contact a decision-maker directly. The few who do reach out usually fail because they send standard, defensive resumes. They initiate a human interaction with a rigid solicitation. To bypass the gatekeepers, you have to abandon the generic summary. You need a way to explain how you actually operate, the consistent internal patterns that drive your work. Those patterns aren't just habits, they're rooted in the hardwired science of your unique biology. Your psychological profile is a behavioral operating system that is as hardwired and as distinct as your physical DNA. Genomic research identified 42 distinct sets of genetic variations, spanning 727 specific regions in our DNA that directly regulate human behavioral traits. This matrix illustrates how those genetic markers interact with the 5 major personality traits. Because each trait contains multiple subfacets, the math dictates that the possible configurations are effectively infinite. It is statistically impossible for 2 unrelated people to share the exact same architecture. To prove this biological baseline, University of Minnesota researchers conducted a landmark study tracking identical twins separated at birth and raised apart. They discovered that even with entirely different upbringings, identical twins still share up to 60% of their exact personality traits and behavioral quirks. The remaining difference comes down to epigenetics. If your DNA is a piano, your life experiences are the pianist. Life events flip genetic switches on or off, creating a narrative that is entirely your own. Since every human is biologically and epigenetically distinct, forcing them into a standardized hiring template strips away the very context that makes them valuable. The SEED profile framework takes this biological data and turns it into a pre-interview sales document. Instead of handing a hiring manager a historical list of what you've done, you provide a blueprint of how you execute tasks and solve problems. It starts with a 4-slide strategy deck. The first slide bypasses a biography entirely to directly address a specific problem the hiring manager's team is currently facing. The second slide breaks down a past accomplishment, walking the reader through the exact mechanics of how you navigate ambiguity. This graphic demonstrates the energy audit slide. It clearly outlines the high-level tasks that charge your internal battery next to the administrative tasks that drain it. The final slides prove you understand the company's challenges and offer a frictionless calendar link for a brief conversation. By articulating your authentic behavioral design, you break out of the automated digital pile. You stop being a generic line item and step in as a precise solution to their operational needs.